Just north of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem is the Church of St. Anne, named for the supposed mother of Mary the Blessed Virgin. But the church has an alternative name, the Church of the Paralytic, because it is claimed that on this very spot Jesus performed one of his mighty miracles. However, you will find the story, the miracle at Bethesda, recorded in only one of the Gospels, that of John. Mark, Matthew and Luke know nothing of this wondrous event, and that isn't really surprising. The author of John tells a curious tale indeed, because in this incident Jesus is said to have performed a wondrous act of healing in a pagan sanctuary already famous for its miracle cures. The fact of the matter is that below the Church of St. Anne is not only an earlier church built by the Crusaders and dedicated to Mary, but earlier still, a Greek sanctuary built in honour of the god of healing, Asclepius, and built to take advantage of the naturally occurring spring, which has long fed a multitude of pools. Perhaps as early as the 4th century BC, that is shortly after the conquest of Palestine by Alexander the Great, more regular reservoirs were dug and a sanctuary of healing developed on this spot, with a variety of pools and of course a shrine to the god. During the reign of Emperor Hadrian in the 2nd century, as part of the redevelopment of Jerusalem into the Roman city of Aelia, the sanctuary of Asclepius was rebuilt on a grander scale, with hot and cold pools and a temple to the Greek god. What all this illustrates is that at the time the Gospel writers were fabricating their tale of a God-man called Jesus, their pagan competition was already up and running in the very heart of the city of Jerusalem, with a long-established and popular sanctuary of healing. Ironically, John's Gospel actually confirms this. A multitude of sick, blind, lame and withered lay waiting in the 5 porticos, says John's Gospel. And just what were they waiting for? Well, this is where the Gospel editors had a great difficulty. They had to explain away the shrine's popularity without conceding that the pagan shrine was a valid alternative to Jesus. In some manuscripts of John, they suggest that the sick were waiting for the movement of the water stirred periodically by an angel. And other manuscripts, not wishing to concede a benign angel to any other god, clarified that this was an angel of the Lord, and that the first to step into the water after they were stirred was healed of whatever disease they suffered from. A moment's thought tells you that this solution is more embarrassing than helpful, because it sets up a successful but cruel race in which only the quick are healed. But this goes to the heart of the story. The sick man of the Jesus miracle had been an invalid for 38 years and could never get into the pool quick enough. Now, modern translations simply duck the problem entirely by leaving out the stirred waters and the angel of the Lord bit, though the episode now makes less sense. But notice 2 other curiosities about this supposed miracle of Jesus. Jesus cures the sick man with just a word. "Pick up your mat and walk," he says. There's no question of the man having faith in Jesus. He doesn't even know who he is. The other curiosity is that when Jesus sees the man later in the Jewish temple, he doesn't greet him with cheery words of kindness and encouragement. He threatens him with worse things to come and tells the man to sin no more. Just what was this poor man, an invalid for 38 years, guilty of? Well, the subtext, of course, is that the man's sin had been worshipping the wrong god, Asclepius. John's miracle tale is directed at the pagan competition. The yarn may comfort the sick and shore up the faith of some, but it just isn't true. It isn't history, It's just more amazing rubbish from the New Testament.